Yo, we made it back home, y'all. They used to hang, this is where they hang like the Christmas decorations from. What store?
Beyond the window!
Behold!
The beyond!
Let's get the content. Let's get the content. That's right. Let's get the content.
You get down here, right? Yeah.
Right. Alibi.
Got it!
What's up? What's up, everybody? If you're watching this as a replay, just saying what's up and hi. Hope all is well. My voice might be a little raspy. I have a little teacup without tea. Cup says, it's a fiesta. Hey, is it Jeanette? That used to be one of my favorite names. I've met two Jeanettes that were really cool peoples. Yeah, so I'm on tonight. As you see, it is the 69th straight stream day, stream night. This is my third stream of the day. Today we crossed 400. We actually crossed 400 subscribers, which 69 days ago was definitely not realistic. But about a week ago, it was getting realistic. I wanted to continue a conversation about parenting in chapters, which is something that I just started saying off the top of my head. We'll see if a few people get in here. I'll try to make a poll real quick. You're from the Goat Raiders. Hey, cool. Still got some Goat Raiders. Yeah, we've had a bunch, and many of them have stuck around and have become a part of this channel, at least for the time being, and very appreciative still. And we've worked hard. I've had a hard couple of weeks though, some ups and downs, and at one point I was really aggressive about pushing out content, but I have not stopped my streaming. Streaming is actually, for me at least, it has helped to grow the channel. If it weren't for streaming, we would not be where we were. I could have done 2x the amount of shorts, and I don't think I would be where I am right now. So we're sitting in a good place. But thanks for coming, Jeanette. Where are you from? Where are you typing from? Or where are you from? No, SFF is in PA. I seen a lot of PA, but on that same day when we got raided, there was a lot of people from a lot of places. I just remember listing all these places. It was overwhelming in the moment, but it's just cool to know that on this type of platform, you could connect with people from all over. Okay, I definitely seen some Wyoming. Maybe it was you. I definitely have seen some Wyoming. Do you garden? Do you homestead? What are you into? I was making some compost on stream earlier. You know, just doing my normal thing. I gotta do some planting tomorrow in between my job. I won't be on it that long. I actually made a mistake and did not hit dual stream. So this is just going to a horizontal. So unless there's some peoples who come from, who the returning peoples, the family campground hosting. Wow, that man, I wish I could pick your brain about that. I am. It's a dream. I'll tell you that it's a dream to get out there and camp. But that's one of the last things. The city boy in me, I'd be throwing punches at the air. I just don't know enough about it, and that's why I haven't really taken the going on to campgrounds. Now I did. I have. When I was a kid, I went to this really cool camp, but in hindsight, it was kind of a secured environment. Daywalk, what's up? It's going okay, Daywalk. How's it going for you? I'm exhausted from all of my weekend and today's activities. Um, I could feel that my my quadriceps and my hamstrings, they're gonna have a talk with me later. But I think when I wake up, I already took some ibuprofen, and I think I'm gonna stretch in the morning, try to stretch out real good, and hopefully that'll just help to get me through the day. Um, I'll get through the day either way. I'm not the type of person that sits down even when they're bothered or hurt. I kind of just work through my issues. Hey, Katie. Katie's not working tonight. That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long we'll be on for. I just kind of wanted to continue the conversation I was having earlier about parenting and sort of parenting in chapters. I wanted to share with you guys. I'll give it like another minute and then I'll just go for it. And if you guys have any questions, any feedback, want to share, by all means. Um, I want to put a poll up. I just don't know how to really phrase it. And this is when AI does help me. Um, what I'm thinking about, because the point that I'm trying to land, or the information that I'm trying to share, because I don't presume or assume to have any influence over, you know, you guys outlook. I'm merely sharing perspective. Oh, Monday through Friday. It'd be nice if it was Monday through Thursday. But yeah, I'm only sharing perspective, and if it lands, or even if you are in total disagreement, that's okay to have the conversation. Actually, Katie had commented on. Thanks, Katie, for your comments on the live video that I did earlier. You're the reason why I just set it to. I remembered to put it to that one. I actually put to public because I thought it was really cool. I don't know how the audio sound. I didn't rewatch it or anything, but I made the investment. More of an investment that I'm used to doing, like for a Christmas present. But the idea was, there's no way that the kids could stay inside if I buy this, and I really want them to get outside. I really want them to have a balance. Um, so that it's like the first couple days that they've been outside, riding their stuff, and who knows, it may not last. They're also still kid toys. They're not toys, but they're kid vehicles. They're age appropriate. I researched really vastly to find something that felt safe for me. Because I could have gone the other way, right? Where it's too kiddie and it'll not be utilized. But putting my son under a gas engine, he was just like, man, it makes him feel like I think even if the ATV was electric, I mean, I guess if it goes fast, he would like it, but you could tell that there's something about like an engine um revving and starting, like you got to put it in choke first, and he hasn't pulled it yet and actually turned the engine over. So I was showing him today what it all meant, so I got to explain to him. And what he doesn't know is that I didn't know what a choke was maybe 5 years ago. I didn't really I didn't take any notice to what a choke was. um so I've learned on the job. Essentially, I've learned on the job of parenting and having to touch these different tools and machines and vehicles. Right now, actually, I had the courage today to look at my lawnmower, and with all of the efforts that I have given to fixing this thing, or I don't want to say fix, but to work with it so that it works with me. Still, as you can see, I'm still struggling with security issues when it comes to the lawnmower. But I was able to get in there today and diagnose right away based on, I had some combustion. I sprayed some starter fluid, some ether, and I heard some combustion. And I'm pretty sure the solenoid is broke, so I'm gonna buy one of those. Maybe when I get off live tonight, I'll buy that, and hopefully it'll be here by Tuesday. And I'll install that, and I think I'll be able to get started early in the season, which has never really happened here. I'm usually weighed down doing other things and just not, able to, you know, do what I need to do early in the season. But I was showing my son what the choke was. I guess the next time he rides, I'm going to have him actually turn it over. And it's an engine. I mean, it's an engine. It's powerful. And luckily it has a little safety for him if he falls off. But he has like the freaking motorcycle helmet. Like he's chilling, man. And I invested in that, and that's why I went live, because we were waiting for my other son who has a go-kart. I was waiting for that to charge. And I asked him, I was like, hey, you want to do a live video? He was like, sure. And I didn't know he was gonna, I mean, I guess it's okay, right? Like kids say the darnest things. But I just noticed the behavior change when we got on live. He understood that he was on a platform now that he's used to watching, and he was almost trying to find like his viral moment. It was kind of weird. Like everything he would say, he was mocking me. It was super intentional to be like annoying on purpose, which he's not. He's not that kid, but I think he was trying just for the camera. So no, I got the comment like that. I see honor. Yeah, no, my mother, I don't remember exactly what the comment, but that's what I read out of it. That's exactly what I read into it. It was my comment was in response was a little taken in a different direction actually. But I appreciate it. My mom did work super hard. In fact, that's one of the reasons why I've always been so independent, is because of how hard my mom worked, and there was no time. So luckily I had because I was in the inner city, and luckily I lived in a place that had a program nearby. So after school program, I was pretty much taken care of. The program that I was in, they're now a part of the Boys and Girls Club of America. But yeah, no, she worked really hard, and we didn't. It's hard to just sum that up real quick, but we didn't need a car. So it's for most people who live in places where cars are a normal thing to have. We didn't need a car. The bus could get us anywhere. We actually live right near a shopping area. We had grocery stores nearby. Like if I wanted to go to what people refer to as the grocery store or a supermarket was across the street. Park across the street. We had a washing machine, but there was a laundromat about 1 block away. So cart is all you needed. I'd have a cart, and once I grew into my adult body, once I had some size on me, I'm pushing and carrying that cart up and down the stairs, and you get whatever you need. But yeah, it was definitely hard for her, and there's a lot of learning, which kind of goes into the topic that I learned from her, and it's not flaws. It's just me observing and me being aware of when I was younger. I was aware of certain things. I still have a very strained relationship and outlook with industry because I watched my mom give her everything to a job. And there was no gold at the end of that rainbow. No gold. And at some point, I wish somebody were there to tell her, a peer, an adult, somebody to tell her, like, hey, don't take your job home. It ain't worth it, you know. But I'm sure it was super hard, and there was some disconnect there because, we had to, from what I remember, if dinner was going to be made, there was a certain age where the kids were kind of on the hook for that, like for the family. So, we learned how to do things for self, which was really good. But it was more of a responsibility than just understanding that we're doing a good thing for our family. Like we're making it work, right? And that's the change in me and how I've grown and see things. I could do the same exact behaviors, but the conversation that matters when I talk to my children, it's more so about the contribution. I don't need you to do a chore, and I don't need you to assign a monetary value to the chore that I would like for you to do. So, and I'm not even saying that that's the right way. It's just my way at this point. I know what it's like to not feel like you have freedom, growing up, and everything was too strict at times because it had to be, right? That's the only way we could function. Um and I have privilege now that I didn't have growing up. What I want to talk about, which is very similar to that, is this thing that I was just saying today, which I'll sum up to like parenting in chapters. And I feel like something that I've gone through, and I'm accurately or actively going through. I I have this TV in my main area, and it just has a Chromecast on it. And the Chromecast, that's like a Google device, and you could cast to it from like your phone or a tablet. And when it's not in use, it just shows pictures, and it's doing whoever signed in, which is me, um, check the thumb up. What's the thumb up? Hold on, I'm getting a message. Okay, we should be good. I don't know what you mean. Check the thumbs up. How do I even see the thumbs up? I don't think I've ever looked at that because that's not on the screens that I'm looking at. Hmm. Okay. Well, I'll keep talking. If you could explain that to me, you might have to break that one down to me, Jeanette. So, as far as what I was saying, we have this device where it just shows pictures that are connected to like your account. So it's my account. So it's pretty much pictures on there for the last, I'd say, 12 years. And it just finds them and then it shows like the date on it, or it'll find a way, like the AI is at work. So it'll find a way to like show two of them, put them next to each other. It'll be me and me. So like I was looking at one earlier and my son was like, "Oh, okay. Maybe." So I was looking at my son was saying like, "Look at the picture of, you, two younger pictures of you, daddy." And the pictures were like 5 years ago. I probably way less than I did then. I don't feel any different. Oh yeah, yeah. Cool. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna get much viewers tonight. I made a mistake, and when I went live, I didn't put the vertical feed. I'm still not big enough to where I get a lot of views from the horizontal feed. So it would generally be like people who already subscribe to me, or if people happen to click on the thumbnail. But I got to do a better job with like my thumbnails and just kind of do an investment there. So for now, it is what it is. I see 5 concurrents right now, but that's the most I've seen since I've been on. Um, but hi everybody, just talking about this. The topic of today is about parenting in chapters, and I really just got into it. So my son, we all see pictures, and it's like the awe moment. Like if you're walking in the house, you just walk past, and you get to see like, oh hey Carolyn, you get to see a picture of yourself 6 years ago. You get to see the children like as babies or toddlers or brother sister photos. And even though they may not feel that way today about one another, but you get to see the pictures in the living room. It's just on a slideshow, and I like it. Um, it's almost like, what was that the TV my wife wanted to buy and spend all this money? The frame. It's almost like having a picture frame in your living room. Um, so we just keep it on. And what's interesting though is when I look at the pictures, I find it very hard to connect with those chapters of me and me as a parent. And what I was talking about earlier in the first live I did today was like holding on to yourself, or not reinventing yourself, but getting closer to where you were. Because there's a point where, and this is obviously this is an active chapter for me, but there's a point where your children they start to grow their independence. And if you don't take back your independence, I feel like you're going to have a strained relationship. You're going to have a wake up call that, like, you just don't feel as much love. You don't feel like you must feel lost because just about every decision, almost everything I do and have done for the past decade has been for my children and my family and my wife. When I'm gardening, I got into all of that because of one, it looked cool, right? It looked like the thing to do. It looked like a simpler way of life. Um, but the real reason why it stuck was because my family needs to eat because we've already been shown that things can change, that things are more fragile than we've ever thought they are. They could be, right? So when it comes to the information that I'm holding, I forage because I need to know what I could eat when it comes time to it, when you can't rely on others. So that's like an ingrained part as to why I started those things and I keep it up because it's a lifestyle that I believe in. Um, but my children don't necessarily believe in the lifestyle, right? And that's on them. They'll reflect one day and say, "Wow, we were super connected to simple things that made sense, that helped to feed us, or just helped to contribute to our earthly connection." Um, and that's fine. I don't have a problem necessarily that they don't take to it. It's not an odd story. Make the pick. What's up, man?
Sucker for love, sucker for love, sucker for love, baby.
It's not an odd story. Make the pick. I am absolutely burnt. I'm not burnt out. I'm exhausted. Burnt out to me is more psychological. Exhaustion is more of a physical thing. I have pushed myself to the brink today. I made it to basketball at 7 a.m. Why was I out there at 7 a.m.? Who knows? But I played great because it probably wasn't me. It was my subconscious. Um, was playing. I woke up like midway through. But yeah, I'm talking about parenting in chapters, and no, nothing happened. I just played ball this morning. Then I pretty much been in the yard all weekend outside of playing basketball. This is my third live tonight. I look tired tonight. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's great to look tired when you are because you've done something. So I appreciate that, Carol. Basketball is for real ballers. Yeah. I felt like a real one today. I gave them a problem at basketball. Um, but yeah, so we're talking about I did multiple lives today. We crossed now that the group is here. I'm gonna read Katie's message after I say this. Once I see a long message, I'm like, I gotta get in. I gotta really read it. Gotta touch my soul. But no, we crossed 400 subs. So kudos to you guys for just helping me with the confidence and keeping this thing going. I was on a live earlier and I got some really encouraging messages about what I'm doing, and it really made me think about, it's been a time, and I feel like I don't want to call someone else's way to progress the wrong way, but what makes this feel so much better is that I've done it, like Frank Sinatra, like my way. I've done it in a way that doesn't cross my integrity. I've just sat back and just, navigated how I have. And I think, yeah, it was 402 earlier, so I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, no, we passed 400. So Katie says, I hear you. Most of my adult life was a single parent. Ooh, I did everything for them. Now I'm married with my kids are adults, and I still do a lot for them, but I have more time for me. Yeah, and I guess it matters on the type of kids, but I'm sorry to burst people's bubble. Um, because of the fragileness of the world today and going from one crisis to the next, we are going to experience. I don't even know if this is an assumption. I think this is almost a guarantee. I think more so than you could ever imagine, kids of today, some of them will never leave the house. Many of them will never leave the house. And I've made my decision. They could stay, but I gotta have another house too. They could stay. Um, but my dream, and that's actually why it's important for me to keep dreaming, because they've never seen what I've seen. They don't, tonight I was my wife was explaining to my son what a B&B was. Like, just, she said Airbnb, and he didn't actually know what it was. And you just realize that a lot of kids, especially ones that are so hyper focused in certain areas like video games, they haven't really lived. And with the world going the way that it is, and it's super fragile, we don't know the future, what's happening with AI. And STEM is a lot of places where we push all these kids, STEM and STEAM, right? So we push all these kids to explore. I'm not sure there's gonna be much waiting for them. So if it's not, the reality is that they probably will live with you, right? Way longer than you would think. They might meet someone and be on the path of marriage by the time, it's time for them to kind of move on. That might be what helps them to move on. Um, so could you imagine, as Katie was saying, and I'm seconding my mom. I'm not saying that she definitely wasn't a helicopter parent, but I don't remember my mom reinvesting into her dreams. And I think it was to a fault, because once you're an empty nester, you're sitting around and you're just waiting for someone to have some extracurricular activity that doesn't exist anymore. That's not your responsibility anymore. You know, like one thing, and my mom actually joins my live. So if I get caught out there and I get a beating because of this live, my mom, we watched a lot of sports in my house. She's the one who put a ball in my hand, a bat in my hand. She was my coach growing up in baseball. She's always been super involved, right? She helped me. I was a good athlete, but that support was critical, right? And we watched a lot of sports. That's a tough one there, Katie. Carolyn, I'll get to it. Um, we watched a lot of sports together, and that's an activity that when I was a kid, I was super into. I can't tell you the moment that something occurred where even though I still play the game, I don't watch it like I did. It doesn't bring these moments that it does for my mom. So my mom, she was actually just at my house, and the first thing is like, what, how we gonna watch the Knick game? I haven't watched the Knick game all year. Maybe one because it was on Amazon. But that's what she's looking forward to, and she's looking forward to doing it with me because we did it. So she's not even able to identify my interest further than when I was under, within the nest, you know. So Carolyn says, my kids are adults. You never stop being a parent. Like when your son calls and says he's sick and wants you to bring him some homemade soup. I can't because he lives in a different state. Yeah, I don't know. Every I'm laughing because my sister would be cutting her eyes right now. She would be like, I ain't never asked my mom. But I think so. My mom was super serious about raising us in a way that allowed for us to self manage, and not rely on anyone. Anyone. So the whole thing about like being a boy and like, granted, my wife has trolled me about not cooking, but I know how to cook. All the basic stuff to take care of yourself. I don't need anyone else to do that. And I just happen to be a person when I'm sick, unless I'm really, really, really sick. Um, I just do what I need to do. I just take care of myself. I just sit my butt down, you know. So that's good that you have that relationship. But yeah, I can't tell you the last time, and I think it's a trauma thing because my story in my late teenage years, because I was telling you I was having issues in school, and I had to make a decision to, I made a decision to get my GED. And when I did that, that was the last time that I remember being vulnerable to someone else's decision, or, well, not even decision, but input, as to what I was trying to do with my life. Because I felt like at that point, it was my life. And what I'm going to do with it, I had at that point, I didn't think everything was seasoned, but if I mess this up, I don't want to blame anybody else for it. And I kind of went, so I was like 17 when I made that decision. And I'm years later than that. I took off my hat earlier. I thought I had a bunch of dust in my hair, but in the sun, this salt and pepper, it looked like salt. It looked like salt with dirt, a little bit of dirt in it. So, well past the 17. Katie says, I still have 2 adult kids in college with me. I agree. I'm not sure when they will be ready to move out. Yeah, no, that's I'm prepared now. But see, here's the flip side of that, Katie. And then we could get back to like just figuring out what I'm trying to say with the chapters. Um, Carolyn says, my son moved out when he was 18, got on a train, moved to LA. That was so, I'm sure that was hard. And that's the age that I was in college, so I would still call home during the times where college is not there. But I would say the majority of the year I was just not, there was no home for me. I was just in school. But yeah, no, I get that. That's super hard, especially, and you said that was your son, so yeah, that's the kind of relationship I had at that time. See, but mine, I feel like was scarred with hey Don, working again. Oh, I hear you. Make that money, Don. But my thing is, I had a lot of things to fix in my life, and me relying on my mom to save things wasn't an option. So I literally had to be my own backbone. My sister helped me a ton, but I knew at 17 that this is it. You're your own backbone. You gotta, you gotta do what you gotta do. Now, what do I know about the world at that point? Nothing. But I was enrolled in a college. Like, I was 17 waiting to start college because I had an opportunity to play basketball somewhere, and that's why I kind of ended things fast. And but I didn't know that was going to work out. I didn't have a good track record academically for the past 4 years at that point. So all I knew is once I got in there, you just got to make the best of it. But I can't blame anybody. When you're in my experience, when I was a kid, anytime I had a bad report card, I'm failing my mom who works super hard to give me anything that I have. And I felt that. I felt that burden that I was failing her, that I could have done better. That's in I don't want to put blame on her cuz it's definitely a different era, but things as simple as going to school, that's like that's just expected, right? Go to school and be good and don't bring no trouble. But it's not really a measure of anything. When I really and that's the thing. I knew early on something's not right here. Yeah, I have one son. Left home at 17, never came back. He stayed in the same. Okay. Oh, he managed a retirement home kitchen. That sounds cool. But yeah, I was I like I said, I made my decision, and I had an uphill battle, and I think the trauma from just being like having failed for a lot of years, and feeling like I failed. I don't every year, first semester in high school, I got you, Katie. First semester in high school would be a failure, and then you go and you tell him, I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. And then you do a little bit better. And you get through. And you wait until that next year to do the same exact thing. And it's a pattern that wasn't gonna ever end well. And but what did it really measure? I was this same person back then. No one was. Granted, I was in a huge high school with over 5,000 students, but there was no one there to say, "Bro, you're special." Like, you just need to chill out. You need to figure out why you're doing the things you're doing. It was like really simple stuff, and there wasn't anybody to pull things aside because you're just expected to meet this. And when I'm looking at teachers, the teachers didn't look to me of someone who commanded respect. Administrators didn't look to me when I would even look at so-called authority figures, police, and it was just like y'all don't seem like good people. So I'm gonna do all of this. I had a lot of questions. I'm gonna do all of this just so that my mother could just not bother me, and I'm gonna just turn into you guys. Like, what? That doesn't make sense to me. Don says my mom made the boys leave at 18. Said they needed their own place. I was out at 15, and sister was after college. Little bro kept coming back multiple times. I'm sure. I'm sure. At least he had the courage to do so. That 18 years old get out thing. That was for me. That was cultural. It was in most of the movies that I grew up on that highlighted my community. That was a part of it. I don't know where that came from. It is hard living with adults, but it's also a good lesson to learn how to respect one another, and communicate. I don't think it's any harder than living with strangers. um, but yeah, it's a bad thing. I had to change. I changed when. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Ooh, sorry. I changed when my wife, who has a slightly different upbringing than me. Oh, well, I don't know what that American thing that buy and bear don't. I don't know how much that means. It's weird. I mean, yeah, we have to have laws for. Thank you, Carolyn. We have to have laws for a reason. Thanks, Katie. But I think I was always questioning good people versus bad people. I talked about it on stream probably a month ago now. Some of the kindest people to me were homeless people. Um, and some of them weren't homeless, but they hung out with the other people. They were, I don't know what there used to be a term, I forgot what it was, but if you could imagine, I'm living in the city. There's bodegas and grocery stores everywhere, and the people that I'm talking about, predominantly men, they hang out in front of the bodega and they nickel and dime all day. They may beg for money. And when I tell you, if you sat down with one of those people, they had a story to tell. They cared about you. They were inquisitive. They even had vocabulary. And I couldn't get that from someone who wasn't in that situation unless I was at my Boys and Girls Club where, these people pass background checks and were fingerprinted and want to be in that field of youth development. So I always had questions because I think we look at things the wrong way in society when it comes to the role that school plays and why we go to it. And when you start to have those questions and you're kind of against the mold, a lot of people don't have time to stop and answer, especially parents. Don says, well, it's 21 now. When you grew up, it was 18. We had to drive to liquor stores, get frozen drinks, and drive off. Still can do this. Can't drink it. You can't remove the straw too. Yeah, I've gone to other states with like weird. I'm just not used to. I forgot what state it was. It's like, yeah, we don't sell beer after a certain time. Like, what? What is going on in this state? What are we really blocking here? And at this point, everyone has dispensaries everywhere. Uh, but yeah, I had a lot of questions. So let me try to get back to this chapters and what I mean by that in parenting in chapters. I was looking at these photos, and when I look at them, I don't know if it's so much information that I take on that it's hard for me to translate my old self into now. But when I look at the pictures, I see I'm frozen in time, where I have some association and connection to what I'm looking at. But I remember the story as it happened, like a book. I don't feel it until I really sit down and like go through it. But I remember the beginning phase. The Just had my first child. My whole world got turned upside down. Every breath literally was delicate. To add on to that, my daughter had a issue with breathing, and it would sound like she's snoring. And when I'm taking her around, people would kind of like questioning what's going on in that little baby carrier. Um, but that phase, the car seat phase, right? I was like the number one car seat person. There were other people who had kids that would make me install a car seat because I was super serious about these things. I have a weird relationship with cars in general because we didn't drive in my house, Katie. So I see cars as a weapon, absolute weapon. And I feel like I'm under contract with everyone else who's on the road. You do the right thing, I do the right thing. Super conservative. I can drive, but I would say I'm a chill cruise control driver, and it ain't about the need for speed. But safety first. So I remember the car seat phase, and then I had another child. And then that was like an interesting juggle. And at this point, I'm starting to really lose myself, right? I'm losing the things that I was connected to prior to having children, including friends. I would think that's where the distance started to grow. Cause in the beginning phase, it's like um, everyone, they want to be a part of your baby shower, and when I got married, and everyone's kind of a part of that, and then when people don't realize I don't get to parent just on social media. I don't get to not be a parent for a day. I don't get a vacation to, like, every time till this day, when I hear, oh, what did my son say the other night? My wife asked, what did he want? He said, oh, I want Applebee's. She wasn't asking if he wanted to eat out somewhere. She was just asking, what do you want for dinner? What do you want me to make? I want Applebee's. Well, Applebee's actually is on the good side of what it's going to cost me and my wife to take out a family. So I don't think that, when I was in that chapter, I'm losing or gaining distance, not just from friends, but family also, because I'm invested. I'm invested in parenting and what that means. That's it's a 25-hour job, especially when you have kids that are close in age and they're both super needy. Um, and then I had another one. And like I always go back to, then I had COVID layered on top. So I've totally at this point lost who I am, and I'm picking up the pieces based on the best decision that I can make. So I'm a shell of myself. I think over the years I put on weight. So I don't even recognize, myself. I don't do the same activities, and everything I do or have time for revolves around them. And now my oldest is kind of teaching me that they don't want you around at some point. So how could I sit here and put myself in a position or my life on hold where I'm just waiting for the moment that you want me to be around? No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna move on with myself. I'm gonna move on and get back to the things that I want to do. Um, and I'm going through this chapter, and I'm actually still teaching at the same time. Like, imagine that you're on the hook for still being there for the lesson and teaching, but you're trying to grab onto what you are. Really take a step back. I know that I say that the YouTube thing is for them, and it is, because it's not about YouTube. It's showing them that no matter what you try, you can do, and you can judge it the way you need to judge it and not let others judge it for you, and just be happy with your output and be happy that you did something that worked for you. My wife, before I got on stream, she said to me, I don't know the exact words, but she was basically saying like she's impressed with the amount of like how I've kept this thing going. I could take it. I could take it, you know. But I'm not shocked because what I said to her is I've done some pretty hard things in my life. So again, I think she might be disconnected with who I am because this is that I'm just sitting in front of a camera. I've lived in some sketchy places just to make life work. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. So that same person that has that story or those things, they could be traumatic, they don't have to be, let's just call them colorful. I'm at the point where I need to bring back some of that color, and I need a next chapter for what that is. And that's what the chapters are about, because I fear, like my mom, what I observed my mom go through is she didn't want to educate herself at some point, and then the industry moved on. And then she was just stuck at the same point until retirement. And she was beat down, and you pretty much gave all of your adult life to work. To work. And I just don't think the trade-off was there for her. Even at times, there's a struggle to communicate because she did so good at coaching us and keeping us safe from, let's just say, the riffraff, that we were in the right programs. I'm obviously the one who didn't do exactly everything correct, but my sister did. And she didn't have anything to worry about, So she got the benefit of that. But what you also grew is you grew these super independent thinkers who are going to call things out and call things the way they are. Katie says, but don't you see how each chapter built the next? If you took one chapter out, would it really change everything? They are sequential. My kids, twins, 33, oldest 34, girl twin, and oldest have autism. Youngest is 19. I raised my first three. Said, wow. My kids were in my life. Yes, I guess it's just the relationship. And I don't know with the autism if there's like it was their independence thing where you were really there. There was a dependency for you to be involved. She also says identify with a lot of what you're saying. Yeah, no, I wish for my mom, and I thought about this for a long time. There was a point where I would hear her talk about, and I didn't understand it at that moment, but I would hear her talk about going back to school, because she was a very smart lady, She was also very good in the office. She'd do any kind of office work. But the difference in her and what she grew behind her, myself and my sister, is we're strategic or we're honest, right? I can't get myself into every room, but I'm going to know the room that I'm not supposed to be in and why I'm not in that room. And it's not always a great reason, but at least I'm aware of it. Like, sort of keep your ear, to the streets. And that's how I've always operated. I wish for her that she went back to school, whether she finished or failed, it didn't matter. That she tried, and she really continued to push because that's what's important to the next generation is that they see you. Like if I had to break down what I identify with, well, my mom had a job. So I don't identify with my friends who were around me whose parents didn't have jobs. I'm sorry. My mom always had a job. My dad always had a job. When he would come around, I didn't get nothing from it. Um, yeah, raising them was hard. My oldest will have uncontrollable violent. Okay. Yeah, actually, my niece, her baseball started. She does softball. Um, she's high functioning. I think she's classified as high functioning. But my sister's been posted on her channel. She comes in a chat every now and then for her games. I usually go to some games throughout the year when I have time. But yeah, no, I definitely observe it in my sister for sure. And how hard that is. Yeah, you guys are troopers. It ain't good enough for me just to go to one autism walk. You guys are troopers. But that's actually what my sister's channel is about. It's about the parent and what you go through and dealing. My sister talks to me enough about how the family may or may not respond to the case, to the happenings. I don't want to say condition, but just not knowing when or how to be a part of it. And that's what makes things feel abnormal. Not the autism, because my niece is great. My niece inspires and achieves. She actually, man, I gotta text my sister because she might have she does this modeling event at Marist College. Oh, he works. Okay, cool. He ended up in the group. Okay. But yeah, so I was saying I wish for my mom that she aspired, and I would love to have that story that my mom continued to push and didn't take no for an answer. And the reason why is because every night she came home, every story was about this person did this at work and this person didn't do that and they should know this, and she's been holding it down for so long, and why would they do this? Yes, I will send the channel right now. In fact, let me try to pull it up and I'll paste it in the chat as well. My sister's channel is gonna blow up when after my 100 days, because I'm definitely gonna be helping her. A lot of us are, there's definitely an advantage to the skill that people have. Wow, she has 31 videos. I'm gonna play this. Yeah, okay, give me 1 second. 1 second. After these messages. Why am I not seeing it? Shut up. Oh, okay. Okay, so this is her channel. I'll just put this in the chat. And this is my niece. Wow, is she cooking? Let me see, she got some audio on there.
Can I get a little bite? I think I got a little appetite. Can I know what it tastes like? Can I know what it tastes like?
That look
Can I get a little bite? I think I
No, my niece is awesome. Oh yeah, we're gonna get some. Trust me, Katie. We're gonna have some fun. She does post on TikTok as well. I'm not on TikTok, but she does post on TikTok as well. I think she gets more of a. I guess the numbers are a little bit more inflated on there, or they definitely mean something different. Um, but I also talked to my sister about what I'm saying with my mom, and I wish for her that she continued because it's hard to tell your kids be all you can be. I know that's an army slogan, but be all you can be, right? Both my sister and I, we both went to college. We both have degrees. So, we got something. We got some direction, and we made it what we made it, right? But if you're gonna keep telling me to go for something, like I remember when my grandmother, you're welcome, Katie. I remember when my grandmother was alive, and my grandmother was such a quiet lady. My grand, this is crazy. This is gonna sound like I was taking advantage of her. My grandmother, if she ever came to stay with us, cause she was mainly, she moved around a lot, but she was in Georgia for most of the time, and then she would come like to New York, and then she actually moved to New York. Well, she would come stay with us, and say I'm in like junior high school. She would fold my dirty. I would get home, and every item of clothing that I have would be folded. It would just be folded and stacked up, and my grandmother would just be humming. I will be sitting in the living room. I'll watch whatever I want on TV. She won't. I know internally she probably having a fit. But I'll be watching some BET, some MTV, and those were like the good days, like TRL and 106 in Park, and all the shows in between, comedy, whatever. And she would not say anything. She would just be humming. But she would say to me, like, definitely I remember her later years, she would just say, I'm so proud of you. And it's sort of a testament to, I don't want to say lack of contribution, but in order to truly connect with me, I have to know that you have my best interest, right? Like when I was talking about my fake uncle, my babysitter Wayne, he has my best interest. There's been moments I've called him about things that have happened at work, and I left a job, and he would tell me. I always remember that I did not like the only thing that this guy ever said that I didn't like. I had left the job, and he was either trying to hype me up to be better than what I've shown him, or just tell me the reality. He said, "You need a job to function, cause you want to start your own thing, but you haven't. You need a job. You need to make sure you have a job." And I'm like, "What's this guy talking about?" Until this day, it bothers me because he was saying it from a distance. So I really need connection. I need. I had so many people. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You don't even know what I do. You don't even know what I can do, what I'm capable of. How could you really be proud of me? Why don't you just line them up? Line up all the people that you proud of. Take a number. No, I know. Look, you're connected to something, and you could express joy and happiness, but I could have really used the support. It's really my point, and I think my sister would second that. And that kind of goes into the conversation as an autism parent. What she's going through, obviously, she didn't expect to be going through, not with the autism, but with the family, not understanding or not just feeling that support. Because they're going to show up one day and just say the same thing. I'm so proud of you. Just break the proudness down and just show me. Walk with me. Cry with me. Love on me. There's so many ways to do that. But back to these chapters. I think what Katie was saying earlier, I could agree with the sequential and if you take it out. But I think what I'm trying to really say is in this book, there's such unique things about a particular chapter, and there's a lack of an overlap. It's almost like, when you have that intermission at a play, someone come get these damn employees. Dawn is having a night. But it's like the intermission, and yeah, there's some connections to part 1 and part 2, but they don't really dictate one another. And I happen to be a very colorful person who has a life and have been connected to a lot of people. So when I go reach for my blessings, right, I think my family, my immediate family, they testing you over there? No. Yeah, just try to relax. But my household, my family, my wife, my kids, they would be shocked at, the depth of what they see from me. There's so much more that they don't know. So it's not really a continuous chapter. From my perspective, obviously, I put myself in a position that led up to this time. But that's not really where I'm going, because I'm reflecting on their perspective of me. Because my daughter is entering that phase where, she's becoming a young woman. Yep. Katie says, yes, I raised them. No family support. It is hard. Just be there for your sister. Listen, ask. That's exactly what I do. And I try not to get down on myself, because I wish I could do more, but I have my own, I have my own issues. And my kids are a little behind hers. So it's hard, and I wanna be there. And I'll continue to try to find ways to be there, even if it's a little bit, because they deserve it. But I also lead by example. And again, that's a part of with this channel and me sticking this out. It means a lot to me, because I've had conversations with my niece, the autistic one's older sister. She does content on TikTok. She's a really good artist. And she's working on, she's in high school now, and she's working on seeing what she wants to do, and if she wants to stick with art, or if she wants to get into like animation or something in computers. And I'm more than willing to help. It's just kind of hard to stick with it when you have your own and you're trying to like navigate. And I guess the next chapter, I'm going to pull back a little bit from the navigating, because I think my family will benefit from what I could bring to the table when I'm not just, the person who's always at home. No one needs keys at this house. No keys. Daddy's home. Oh, he's in the backyard. He's turning compost. He's running chickens around, or he's gardening. Um, I don't think that they understand that the walls just come in, and I get like I don't want to do anything with, like, I've never mentioned anything about prison, but just the term being institutionalized. Um, I think I feel it sometimes because when I leave, even if it's like to go to the store, there's a mix between anxiety and just like stress relief. Like, oh man, they let me leave the house. And then let me leave for a half an hour, and next thing you know, I get a phone call. Where you at? Where you at? But yeah, I think it's important for us to develop. I think it's a better way to say it. We should keep developing. Um, Katie says just listening is a lot. You do need to put your family first. Yep, and I do. I do. Um, but my sister's also, my extended family, and we're not far from each other. We were able to figure out a situation where we could be there or better for each other, and I say we do. We keep in touch. We're pretty close. Um, but yeah, you could always, I'm happy. I'm happy with it. I just the topic at hand is more about the development and progress that I think needs to happen. And for me, it's exposing my family to something that they've never seen. And then anytime you give somebody something new, you don't know how they're going to respond to it. You know? So that was all. A little long-winded and leggy to get that out. I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. I am disappointed about something. I know Mick the Pick came in and hey, Missy coming in. Wow, didn't expect that. We had a good, I think we had a good talk about parenting and chapters, and you probably would have had a lot of good context to say. But I was just talking about my disappointment because Sir Shadow Black, one of my moderators, I've been trying to push him to produce content, and I'm probably gonna have to threaten him in the. Oh, they fixed themselves before you got down. I'm probably gonna have to threaten him in my own way, but I was telling my wife that one of the reasons why I'm sure it'll be a slower process for growth in this space, this content creation, is that um, I don't come with a lot of conflict. At least it hasn't happened yet. I'm on the lookout, and I don't think that there's certain things I don't do. I don't try to argue with people through text messages, and I don't think that's a forum for that. But the conflict happens. I've mentioned this before. It happens with creators, and whether it's creators in the chat, whether it's creators and creators, um, that will occur. But Shadow Black owes me content because he's gone through a lot of things in the last couple of years, and I think I don't think he owes anyone his story, but he wants to create content. This is a conversation that I've had in the back channel with him for a very long time. In fact, he started producing content well before I even thought about producing content. And I can't say the reason as to why he's not, but I know that if you guys really saw him do content, it won't take long. he's gonna he's gonna go up. He's always been an impressive person. He was a big guy when we were young. Um, he was big. To everyone else, he was big, and I could ever find a tape of this, and we could get these tapes converted to digital. If you could imagine, let's just say he was 300 pounds at the time, and we would set up a race, and he'd raise his hand to race people, and he would beat them. So he was like an agile 5'10", barely 300-pound kid at the time, young man, and he would just be running, like he's in the NFL in the street, chasing or racing people. I shouldn't say chasing. And he has similar things. He has a family, and there's a lot of, just things that he's trying to work through. So I really wish he would bite the bullet, and I might have to. I know once I pass the 100 days, I'm probably going to do a stream where I go break down his door. He lives about 4+ hours from me, and I will drive every mile of it, record it and stream it. Got to get the content and break down his door, and give him a hug, and make sure that he's okay, and sit with the children. I don't think I've ever seen them in person because we live pretty far, and we live my life, they live their life. I don't think he's met my kids either, but we've played games online together. So I'm really disappointed, but I know he'll figure it out. So if you guys, I'll just show you his guy's channel as well. I have in the past, but since we're sharing, I'll just put his channel up. Missy, I passed 400 subscribers. Interesting day, huh? Yeah, so this is his channel. Shadow Black Entertainment. Sweet guy. But we're gonna get him in his creativity back on the interweb. That's really it. I mean, if we're way over the hump, you're looking forward to seeing that content. Thank you, Missy. We're really over the hump now. 100 days is I feel like there's gonna be one night where I'm gonna have a struggle to get a stream out, and I'm gonna feel the pressure to do it. Not cause like a technical issue, something might happen and I have to switch up, but I'm still gonna make the stream work, and no one really knows why I'm doing it. Does it even matter? But I still think it's cool. And 69 days, we hit day 70 tomorrow. I'm burnt out. I'm exhausted. The employment situation, let's just say you've seen the internet and you've seen a lot of people go through troubles at their job. I'm at this point, I feel like I'm in the same league and anything could happen. But as we know it, I'm still there, and I'm still working hard. But yeah, we're gonna get these 100 days. So that's tonight's show. I think if you guys, I'll give anyone, if you had a comment, a lasting comment or a question, I'll be willing to talk some more. I don't even know how I got through an hour and 20 minutes, to be honest with you. But I guess Darnell just talks too much. That'll be the name of my backup channel. Darnell talks too much. I don't think I told you guys. I told Missy because I know Missy, but Katie and Dawn and Carolyn, if you're still around, um, the reason why the name of the channel is Darnell Just Talking is because there was a point, and this is like over the COVID years, I would be trying to have a conversation and I would overhear a third party person say, "Oh, Darnell's just talking." Like, how many good nights tonight? I don't know. It depends. I'm not gonna be yesterday's record, I'll tell you that. Um but yeah, they would say Darnell's just talking. And I have like this spidey sense. I've caught many of people talking trash before where I could just kind of hear multiple conversations in a room. And yeah, I've heard my mom say it. It was like Darnell's just talking. And I was just like, why do people think I'm not standing on the things that I'm saying? Like I'm not just trying to be here just to use. I don't. You know what my sister used to say to me, and I always hated the term. You just like to hear yourself talk. What? That's not true. I don't even like my voice. So I yeah, I got that's when I started. I heard other people say Darnell is just talking, and I was like, you know what? Let's not forget this moment, and it's a thing, and I'm gonna turn it into something good. And that's when I started using the name. Because if I had like a nickname, I have more people that call me like D about my business than no one knows me as like Darnell's just talking. That's just been a YouTube thing. Um, but yeah, that's how I got. That's why the name is where it's at. So I don't see any questions other than Katie's question, which I believe I answered. All of you have a wonderful evening, and I hope your Monday starts off great. I'm not too excited for mine. We'll figure out how to turn the corner, but yeah, that's tonight's show. I think this is the second good night, Katie. Yeah, second good night. And hopefully nobody pops up in that chat. I'll be in the back chat. I'm gonna just play some videos. You know I like to play my videos. I'm gonna start mixing it up and play some other ones that I don't have tomorrow. I guess that I don't usually have queued up. I'll show an older one so you guys can kind of see the growth of where this came from. But that's tonight's show. Thanks a lot, guys. Make the pick did stop by, so it's only right. Don't be a sucker for love, everybody. Peace. Today is day 15, 15th straight day of myself coming on here streaming. In many places, where you grow up determines how you operate. Like Kendrick Lamar, I went from just being a regular dude to a dad to Unk to OG. When I go play basketball, I'm considered OG, as if I'm out there throwing hook shots or something. Make the Pick says, I think that the 90s, 2000s internet felt more special, like nostalgic, right? Is the internet more impactful today from an information standpoint today than it is in the 90s? There's a lack of diversity. You have people that see the internet as social media, and that's very sad, because if social media is the internet, then all of your information is going to be confined. If you have children, or if you're going to have children, or if you engage with children, please be honest with them. That is my only request. I have never been more honest than after I had my children. I like when I build something for people to be impacted, and I actually believe that videos, whether it's modern.
After 25 days of streaming every night, not only just chilling, but I'm outside. I'm outside, people. One take. I'm outside, y'all. I'm outside. Today, we eat